Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cinco Squad. Tonight it is myself, Mike DeSanto. Alongside me is Grandpa Jay. John is off making sure that Kevin Patullo's offense is not the one that the Eagles run moving forward because it's been so inconsistent. I'm actually going to use Saquon Barkley for more than just running up the middle. Novel idea. I think it's a good idea, but we are here tonight.
Not like a good dose of the Raiders to get things on track again, though.
Yeah, it's true. If there was any team really in the league to face to figure out some of the kinks in the offense and get some guys used a little more,
I feel we can't even do the Raiders.
They're not even the Raiders. They're the Raiders. Which they got to do something. Well, there's a few different teams that have to do something. Jay, I believe you did say you had 5 wacky stories you wanted to bring up to kick us off.
Look, the world of sports has been going crazy all over the globe. So I got my big 5 wacky, weird, and wild headlines from around the sports globe. And we're going to talk about some of these moving forward here. But number 5, deja vu is a real thing, because I saw a stat this week that says in year 8, both Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are going for their 4th ring, and they lose the Super Bowl. In year 9, both quarterbacks end their season with a torn ACL. You couldn't write it any more perfect than that. And how can you write it that perfect where you would want history to actually repeat itself? It's just crazy sometimes how one GOAT can kind of mimic the GOAT that is a parent or heir or whatever it is. Kind of crazy that it happened at the same time in their careers. Number 2. In the last 177 days of this year since OKC won the NBA championship, they have only lost 2 games by a combined 4 points. In fact, they currently sit at 24-2 and have more wins combined than the Pacers, Pelicans, Kings, and Clippers. Yeah, that's how bad those teams are, but that's how good they are. Number 3, the Big 12 has partnered with 2 private equity firms who are going to pump $500 million into the conference. So what we are quickly seeing is the norm in college football. And that is private equity firms taking over schools and or conferences. It happened with Utah. They signed the deal. And I guarantee you guys, by August of 2026, college football will be a pro sport. Number 4, the WNBA is at risk of long-term sustainability with the Saudi Basketball League launching their Project B. If you guys haven't heard of that, it is an international league that is offering WNBA players massive salaries, which also come with certain restrictions as for when they can go back to the WNBA. And number 5, for the first time since 1998, a quarterback named Brady Manning or Mahomes will not be involved in the NFL playoffs.
Wow.
Yeah.
How
about that?
That's nuts. I know I had seen some stuff about that WNBA, that Project B, the fact that they only have, who's the one player that signed so far? They've got the one.
She is the president of the WNBA Players Association. She plays for the Storm. What's her name? We'll get her name.
Mecca.
Yes. Yep.
What is it? Mbugwe?
Yeah.
Yep. That's so. I mean, that's being the Players Association's players.
Kind of sending a strong message to WNBA saying, "You better pay us, and/or good luck getting us to come back in time for the season, or half of the season, or whatever." The Saudi league says it's like, $3 million, $100,000, $105,000, $110,000, $4 million. Doesn't match up. The average salary is sitting at 105 now. They're willing to throw them millions. We might start seeing a huge shift in the WNBA, whereas all of a sudden we thought it was Caitlin Mania. She came to save the NBA. Here comes Paige. Here comes the new generation. Juju's about to come in. Not so fast. The Saudis are like, we got Project B, and your Project W might not work for too much longer.
You can It's like you can revolutionize women's basketball, but how about you do it over here where we're actually going to pay you?
Yeah.
And what athlete, what person on this planet would not respond positively to that? Like,
20x in salary.
You're going to pay me 20 times more money to do the same thing I'm doing over here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the WNBA honestly needs to step their game up. At this point, I get it. You can't match the Saudi money because that's like endless money. It seems like based on all the leagues they're doing. But I think you can not match that, but you can raise what you're paying them by a lot. I mean, the TV deal at this point has to be giving you a lot of money. The backing of the NBA has to be getting you a lot of money. The merchandise sales with like Caitlin and Paige and Asia Wilson and Angel Reese and like the young stars has to be getting you more money. I can't imagine possibly that you can't afford to pay these girls more money.
It almost seems like the same thing that NASCAR just went through when Jordan's team was like, nah, we're going to sue you guys. Like, you cannot keep a stranglehold on the teams who are barely surviving and the drivers that are, we are the ones that are bringing people to the track. We are your sport, yet somehow the revenue share has been so poor over time. Jordan finally stepped up and said, do more, do better. And it was such a funny interview because people are asking him, do you think this is better for NASCAR? And the owner's kind of like, what do you think, bro? Like, they're about to freaking take $50 million out of my pocket. Of course, it sucks for me, but if you want your sport to survive, the teams have spoken, in particular, Jordan's team has spoken. It's the same thing with WNBA. Like, at some point, you have to realize that somebody else is going to scoop them up. And it is the Saudis. The Saudis are trying to almost create this sports tourism mecca, in a sense, right? Where they're not even waiting right now where the model in soccer was, let's wait till they're kind of past their prime. Now it's like, let's get these women in their prime. Let's get people coming over here to watch them play. Let's get TV right deals for people who want to watch this league. And who knows about the WNBA's long-term sustainability, but it doesn't look too good right now.
No, not at all. But you know what's looking different? You had mentioned that there's a lot of kind of change in the NFL this year as far as, the Manning, Brady, Mahomes thing. And we talk about the considered GOAT right now, Tom Brady, versus the potential future GOAT of Patrick Mahomes. But there's one constant in the NFL, it seems, and that is Aaron Rodgers, who just keeps sticking around and making things, interesting for the league as far as like he has a lot of demands when he gets to teams. But we saw last night, congrats to the Pittsburgh Steelers for looking phenomenal.
He looked great at 23 for 27. I mean, we know it's the Dolphins.
The
Dolphins have been playing pretty good football. So it's not like they were playing. They're not the 2-6 Dolphins from a month ago. Like, they were 6-7 and they were playing good football.
And he honestly can still play. I'm not saying he can't still play.
Yeah.
The thing is,
in moderation. Right?
In moderation.
He looks really bad throwing the ball past 25 yards.
Right, but he's smart enough at this point in his experience to get the job done. And he's gotten the job done enough that they showed that he's now, as of like midway through the third quarter when he put up particular yards, he's now at least top 5 in most passing categories in league history. So my question to you is this. Is he top 5 all time as a quarterback in your mind?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's me going off regular season success. If we keep the playoffs out of this, because it's hard to, it's hard to say that the quarterback has to carry that team into the playoffs and then be successful, right? You got to be balanced. You have to be great on the other side of the football. And you have to have damn good coaching that's going to help you make that deeper. Now, he's being spoiled enough to have all those things except good defensive teams. Like, we know how bad it was for him in Green Bay for a long time. And it's like, if you could get this guy, kind of like Dallas right now, right? It's like if Dallas missed the playoffs, we could have one of the more dynamic offenses that we've seen in a long time not be able to have a shot in the playoffs. And it still is defense wins championships to a sense. But Aaron has done more with less, right? So, he had Devonta. Okay, what else did he have? He didn't have that much of a running game.
Greg Jennings.
So
scoring a touchdown on him with a broken freaking leg.
Yeah, I mean, he had Greg Jennings, he had Jordy Nelson, right? So, like, there's certain players that say, okay, but really rank those guys amongst the all-time greats. You know what I mean? So Devonta's up there. We know that he can always produce every year. So we know that blip in New York was kind of like, let's just wipe that off his career map. That one doesn't even count. Now you bring him into Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's doing what Pittsburgh does. They're playing to win 9 or 10 games, possibly win that division. And they're probably going to run into Josh Allen. And I tell you what, he might cement that to me if he beats Josh Allen in that first round matchup. Like, if somehow he can get the job done, they're like, all right, bro, you're top 5 all time. It's
just tough for me to say that he is, simply because of like all the great quarterbacks that we've had over the course. So, okay, in no particular order: Brady, Peyton, Montana, Marino, Elway, Breeze. Let's see who else.
That's pretty much the big six, right?
That's the big six. I mean, obviously, we're not going to consider current. It's one of those debates where I don't really consider current guys yet, even though I think Mahomes will finish somewhere in the top 10.
Mahomes already has a lot more rings.
Yes, but I agree with you. Keep it equal between the two of us. Let's take playoffs out of it.
But when they retire, they push him down. Mahomes pushes him down. So right there, he probably isn't top 5 then. Because even if Elway is debatable, I don't think you can debate him with Mahomes if Mahomes ends up with 4 rings or 5 rings.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
I know I said that we won't take rings into account and stuff, but everybody else will.
You got to get right.
And so you kind of have to. Who on that list is Brady, multiple rings.
Oh, of course.
Marino's the only one without any. Right. Everybody else has multiple rings.
But he's the universal one. Everybody looks at and goes,
Correct.
well, the Dolphins had helped him out. Like you said, with those bad defenses that guys have had to deal with, it's like if you give him a solid defense, he'll win. He'll win probably at least one.
Yep.
I would say one of the ones that the Bills go to. He might get to one of those with a good defense, with like a really solid defense. Although that Bills team was like, they should have won at least one of them, if not both, 2 of them.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah. The 2 Dallas ones, those are the 2 that are like, okay, you probably shouldn't have won those ones. Mm-hmm. I will fully admit, as a Giants fan, you should have beat the Giants. I'm not going to say why. I'm not going to bring up the
Washington just stopped.
Washington, you should have beat Washington. 100%. If you don't beat the Giants' defense is good, you should have beat Washington outright. Like Washington caught you. Did they catch them at the end?
No, it was a blowout.
Or was it Giants, Cowboys?
Giants, Redskins, Cowboys.
Oh, they went Cowboys. I couldn't remember if it went Cowboys, Redskins, Cowboys. But I mean, a side note, Bill should have won one of them. But Marino, right? Montana obviously wins. Elway ends up winning. Peyton ends up winning. Breeze ends up winning. He's only got one. Breeze only got the one, right?
Yeah.
But that's a special one.
Yeah.
That's the Hurricane Katrina.
Elway 2, Breeze 1, Manning 2.
One with Denver, one with Indy.
Brady,
don't forget the Indy one.
Brady 74.
All right, Mahomes 75. But I just think
you're right. He probably is bumped out of the top 5, and I can't see him doing anything now to put himself there. They will say he probably had 3 of the most incredible statistical regular seasons with obviously the way he took care of the ball and the production. So even though he was airing it out, he was actually taking care of the ball. Was 37-4 one year, 37 tutties and 4 picks or something, which is remarkable. But, top 5 most controversial NFL players of all time. Absolutely. He's up there for top 5 most controversial players.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I think I would at least be able to confidently say, even if I can't confidently say he's top 5, he deserves to be in the discussion.
10.
He's in the top 10 and he deserves to be a name talked about for top 5 at the end of his career, as amongst the mix of 4 and whoever you would put 4 and 5. Because at this point, it's probably pretty cemented as far as the top 3, I would say, with Brady. What we say, Brady, Montana, and Marino. Yeah. Talent-wise, yeah. Mm-hmm. Look, again, taking rings out of it. You put rings into it, maybe Peyton, maybe I end up Mahomes. But I want to let's look at the other side of last night's Monday Night Football again, because I have a statement to make, and I will then I will give my reasoning, then I will allow you to respond. I want to hear what you think.
Let's go.
Tua time is over. It's time to move on from Tua. They've given him enough chances. They've given him enough time. And a lot of it is not his fault. He can't stay healthy. He doesn't have a good offensive line to keep him upright. But I looked at the numbers. He's got 15 picks in 14 games so far this year. Now you would say, it doesn't sound so bad. For a franchise every year, the concussions really concern me. His reads haven't progressed and have actually gotten worse, probably because of the concussions. And he has statistically ran for less and less yards every year of his NFL career, which means he is no longer a dual threat quarterback, which means what is Tua at this point, because he's never been a pocket passer. It's time to move on. And frankly, it's time for him to move on. I think he's done being an NFL starter.
If the glove does not fit,
he must quit.
Yes, and the glove does not fit anymore with Tua being a starter. I heard it all over sports radio today, and one of the points that they brought up was, is he even a decent backup at this point? Because if he's a turnover machine, why do you want that person coming in to try to salvage your season? So, is he kind of like a Jameis Winston where maybe he's on your depth chart, and in case you have injuries that kind of happen consecutively, then maybe he could salvage some part of that season for you till someone gets healthy? I think that's very doubtful. On top of that, Miami is a top 5 running team this year. You have a top 5 running offense and you're still turning the ball over that much? That makes no sense. So let's look at it from a financial standpoint. I think if Miami keeps him on the team and then they cut him, I think there's a $55 million, I think, in that range, right? It's like 55.
I'm gonna check it for you, but continue.
Yeah, I think the cap hit would be 55. If they let him go in June before that deadline date, then they take a $63 million hit or something like that. However, we saw Denver have to do the same thing with Russell Wilson, and they found their guy in Bo Nix. So we know that Miami right now is going to be on the hunt. If they decide to, which we don't like when teams tank, but if they say, look, you know what, let's pull Tua, we're probably going to lose the rest of our games, they end up with a top 10 pick most likely. At that point, you go ahead and say Denver did it and Denver found their guy. So maybe we strike gold here in this draft. Now, the problem with this draft is it's not very quarterback friendly. A lot of those guys can go back to school if they basically say, I don't want to play for the Raiders. I don't want to play for the Jets. Like, Mendoza is the only one that doesn't have a choice, and we know he's probably going to end up in one.
Mendoza and Nussmeier, I think, are the only,
right?
But Nussmeier's not considered a top prospect.
Not at all. It's second or third round at best at this point, right? So you're not going to gamble on him in the first round. So it's kind of like, is this even the year to go shopping? If you're desperate like the Raiders are, you have to go shopping.
Desperate like the Jets.
If you're desperate like the Jets. Are the Dolphins desperate, or can the Dolphins go ahead and say, like, how about we sign Marcus Mariota for a year, right? Why don't we go ahead and look at somebody who potentially might be cut like a Spencer Rattler and be like, hey, he already has game time experience. Let's bring him in here, and then we can experiment on a quarterback this year. And if he doesn't work out, big deal. It's tough. I think they're in probably the toughest predicament right now, because when healthy, the defense is ready to help them win, and you have one of the best running backs in the league. So right now you are probably a quarterback away and a receiver away from competing. But look at your division. The Pats are going to be here to stay. The Bills ain't going anywhere, and the Jets are the Jets, right? So You're really fighting to have a wild card spot, which means you're fighting with the Bengals and or Ravens and or Steelers. You're fighting with the Chargers and or Broncos and or Chiefs, right? So it's or the Jags or the Colts. I mean, like the AFC has just become like how the Wild Wild West was in the NBA.
Yeah.
And good luck even getting into the playoffs.
There are going to be some very good teams, even this year, that aren't going to make the playoffs, that could actually make runs. Maybe not to the AFC Championship game, but at least win a game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams that can at least win a game. Now, my thing is this. It's really, like you said, it really isn't a good draft to pick a quarterback. You might be able to pick up a eventually quarterback. But I don't know. Maybe you do try a Nussmeier. Maybe you do.
If Dante Moore comes up.
Maybe you do try Pavia. Maybe you do, even though Pavia says he wants to be a Raider.
Yeah.
Because he wants to play with Max Crosby.
Interesting.
I think that's a terrible fit, but that's just me. We'll get to that more draft time.
I mean, if we thought Kyler was small.
Yeah, I know. Which, by the way, they say he's 6 foot.
Bull poop.
Because they say Mendoza's 6'5", and did you see the pictures of them next to each other?
He ain't 6 foot.
No, he's
5'9" at best.
I was going to say, I'm 5'10". I really feel like I'm taller than Diego Pavia. Sorry, Diego, but it's okay. It's okay. You don't need to be be tall anymore.
Man, you made the list as finalist as a 5'10" freak
You were good.
athlete.
Right. You were good. Now, the thing is, do they really need to draft a eventually quarterback? Because they might have an eventually quarterback on the roster. People forget they currently have Quinn Ewers on the roster.
Interesting.
Would you give Quinn a shot?
Why not?
Over Zach? Well, the options, because this all prompting by Mike McDaniels says he's mulling a change at quarterback.
Yeah.
The other two options are Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, you've seen what Wilson can do already. At this point, you're like, let's see what the kid can do. We have no tape on him, so give him a shot.
And you've been eliminated.
Yeah.
So what do you – I shouldn't say what are you playing for, but – and frankly, if you're looking at it from an organizational standpoint and he isn't good and you lose games, okay, now are you in range for Mendoza?
Yeah.
Or Dante Moore? Do you leapfrog? Can you? I don't know if they. I don't think they can mathematically jump.
No.
But
you can give away some first round picks if you.
Here's my thing: if you get within the top 5 or at least within the top 7 or 8, you could make the splash because supposedly the Giants might be considering trading down if they have the 1 because they're not who they want because they're not in market for a quarterback is not 1. They can move further down and get
that guy
and get an offensive tackle like Fano or Caden Proctor or Arvell Reese or one of the receivers. They can move even lower than 5 and do it.
Yeah.
So if you have somewhere in the top 7 or 8, you might be able to leapfrog the Jets, who are widely, I've seen, projected to make that trade with the Giants because they want Mendoza really bad, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
Again, take everything with a grain of salt, but supposedly the Jets really want Mendoza. But they could jump, they could leapfrog, make that move for more, give more assets that they have, and take their guy, whether it's Moore or Mendoza. But yeah, I would give Ewers a shot. I mean,
why not?
What do you got to lose?
Yeah, why not?
Honestly,
it's a huge why not situation. And then guess what? You have some film, even though you might shut some other players down, even though you might get freaking mauled.
Yeah,
your line's not necessarily out there trying to finish the season strong, so it might not be a true good litmus test for him or your team. But at least he's getting some reps and at least he's getting some starts. And if he shows you some fight, then you have someone out there next year that might be competing for that number 1 spot or not.
By the way, to answer your question, the Tua contract, they have an out after next season.
Okay,
the out makes it a 3-year, $152 million deal.
But I think there's something where they can get out of their contract, but they'll owe him like 63 right away or something like that this summer.
I'm looking
I don't
at
think
it.
the whole thing's guaranteed.
So they've already set so that the 29, 30 years would be automatically automatically voided 5 days after the Super Bowl in 28.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see.
God, they can't be in the books for $150 million. And so here's why you don't go paying guys like a Tua that much money. Like you have to be smarter about how you really think Tua is going to sit there and turn down a 2-year, $96 million deal if they just lit it up in the front end and they're like, look, and then in the second year they could probably have a clause that says we can get out of this instead of paying the full 48, we can get out with 35. So then you just paid average price, which is crazy to say for a quarterback, which is $40 million a year, and not given that extension, and not put yourself in debt, and not put yourself in a sticky situation where you can't build around him. So I feel like they really mucked up on that. It was almost like you felt sorry for the guy. It kind of felt like that, didn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Where it's like I said in my kind of reasoning of why to move on, I kind of feel bad for Tua in the sense of you could say like you don't feel bad for Tua because he's made so much money and all that, but like. The fact that I know you can tell he loves to play football.
He does.
He's always loved to play football, and it's just I'm sorry, it's just not good for him anymore.
No, it really isn't.
Like I said, the concussions, and it's his choice. It's his and his family and his agent and the team's choice and all that. I worry for him. We've seen so many issues with CTE. And he gets slammed down so much. And I'm sorry, the Dolphins have done nothing to help him offensively on the line, to keep him safe, you got to keep your quarterback upright. They don't do that. Every time he goes down, I get concerned because I watch his head. Every time he gets tackled, I watch his head just to see if this is the time it hit. Right. Because I'm so as the person, forget two of the football player.
Yeah.
Tua the person, I just want him to be healthy.
He's a good guy too.
And he seems like I've never had, pleasure of meeting him, but he seems like a really cool dude.
Yeah.
That's really down to earth and nice and, has the right mindset. And so you want those guys to succeed.
Yep.
And my concern when he came into the league was his hip because he just had hip surgery. Mm-hmm. But now the concussions are the bigger problem. And I just think it's time for the Dolphins to move on. And frankly, it's probably time for Tua to move on. By the way, I think based on what I'm reading of his contract notes, they did the exact opposite.
Okay.
His $54 million for next year became fully guaranteed in March of this year. And it's guaranteed no matter if he gets hurt or not. Wow. Which, smart on his part, with all the concussion and hip issues.
But I think something that they'd go ahead and say they're going to release him like before camp or something, that becomes a $63 million cap or something like that, right?
I don't think he's the type of guy that's going to hold them up. No. He's going to want his money. Yeah. But he's not going to want to hold them up.
Quick yes or no. Is Mike McDaniels the right guy, and should they give him one more year?
No. Fire him. Okay. It's scorched earth, clean slate. It's time for the whole team to move on. Move Tyreek. You're like move on from Tua, move on from McDaniel. If you want to keep any buddies on the offense, keep Waddle, keep a chain.
And finally, not to rub it into Mikey, but how can both New York football teams be the worst teams in football again? I mean, they are holding true to the fact that the teams with the two worst records in football, I want to say since 2018, are the Jets and the Giants. Yep. And once again, they're just holding court. I think the scarier part for you right now is Jackson Dart better hire a friggin' baseball coach to teach him how to slide in the offseason because he could not be evaluated every other game for a concussion.
Did you see that?
My goodness.
5 out of the so he's missed 2 games with a concussion. Yes. The other 10 games he's appeared in, he's been evaluated for a concussion.
This one off. He was like, that was way too precautious, but it's just the way the league is now. They're not taking any chances.
But still.
But they thought you needed to be looked at, so you did something that made them feel like you threatened your health right there, buddy. And at some point, it's cool to have fun, but guess what? Cam is a madman, okay, Jackson? You are not a madman. You date blondes with big titties. You're the Flash. You're the guy. You're the guy with the fur coat. Cam's the guy that's coming behind throwing bows if anybody's trying to threaten the guy wearing the fur coat because he's just freaking nuts. You're not Cam. Stop it. You need to stay on your feet. The team can actually be really freaking good with one more stud to throw the ball to. The team could be really good next year with another stud linebacker. And I think you guys can compete if you get right in the draft. We spoke about it last night. You're probably a couple of players away. If your damn quarterback decides, I'm going to just go ahead and just cut my losses short here by sliding. So what? I wasn't a superhero that picked up the first down right there. Hey, I'm on the field for the next quarter at least. So hopefully he gets it right in the offseason because I would hate for this team to not understand what their potential is because it's either Neighbors is out or Cam is out or Jackson's out or whoever's out. It's like, no, can we just get them all together and see what it looks like?
Well, if they had held on to all of their fourth quarter leads this year, they'd have 6 wins. Yeah. Which it doesn't sound great.
No, but 6 and 8 is much better than what you are right now.
Exactly. So, 6 and 8 at least. I mean, I don't know if they might in the NFC, they might still be in the hunt. Yeah. As far as they probably got to win out to make it. But still, I would like to see that. I'd like to see the Giants be at least in the hunt competing for once instead of we got eliminated in week 10
on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Well, that's it. But I think they can be good if they stay healthy. The defense needs to be better. We talked about what I think. They need better secondary. They need an Orville Reese type linebacker, some sort of linebacker. Although Jacob Rodriguez is projected in the 3rd or 4th round right now.
Ooh, that's a steal.
Would not mind that. Would not mind that at all.
Bit of a steal.
So you actually, Giants, you did listen to me. Did I not say last year draft Cam? I was right. Draft Jacob Rodriguez. He's going to be really good. Jackson's the young star that needs to learn how to slide. The old star that I don't think physically can slide anymore is Mr. Phillip Rivers. Uncle Phil.
Man Rivers.
They announced today he will start on Monday Night Football against San Francisco.
And they are going to come after poor old man Rivers. But at least he'll have another week under his belt, so his mechanics are probably going to be better. He'll have more control of the offense. Yes. You game to figure that they're going to put Jonathan Taylor into that game script for at least 70% of the plays. Yes. He's that good to do that. And their playoff hopes are on the line right here because they cannot afford to lose. San Fran's kind of in the mix too. The NFC is wild right now. They're 10-win teams that they will have a 10-win team that will not make the playoffs. It's probably going to be the Lions. Kind of way you see it right now. But that's wild right now in the NFC that it is that good with so many teams vying to win 11 and 12 games. I just want to see him out there having fun. That was a great post-game interview. They had a chance to beat the best, one of the best, if not the best defense in football. So, hey, you have my respect, Phillip, because your ass was sitting down on the couch for 5 years and you got up and gamed and balled out. And you got something kind of interesting. Yeah, let's
genius move.
Yeah.
Genius move by Phillip Rivers. So what people don't know, I can't remember who on social media I saw say this or point this out. So in the NFL, once you retire, you have 5 years of part of your pension package, so to speak, is 5 years of your insurance paid for by the league.
And what if a team came knocking?
A team came knocking just before you reached the end of that fifth year.
How long is it?
The exact fifth year. If this season ended without Phillip Rivers playing, he would, starting next season, have to pay for his own insurance, which, frankly, I'm sure Phillip Rivers can pay for his own insurance, even though he pays for 10 children. However, a genius move, because now that he's played a single snap in the NFL, if he retired right after that play, another 5 whole years, which means Phillip Rivers then would not have to pay for his insurance until he was 50. So get ready after this year for age 50 Phillip Rivers to come out of retirement, play a snap. Doesn't even got to handle the ball.
Nope.
Victory formation. Put him out for a victory formation. He gets another 5 years. So every 5 years until he literally can't move, Phillip Rivers will come out of retirement to play a victory formation for somebody. Probably the Chargers most of the time.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the genius move of 2025.
Absolutely.
Phillip Rivers. Tip of the hat to you, my friend.
Tip of the hat to you. I do have speaking of Phillip Rivers, though, I do have a hypothetical for you. Okay. All right. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll put you in the hold on. We'll put you in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because that's the team you are most familiar and most near and dear to your heart.
Wait.
Okay, you are the GM or coach or whatever.
Yes.
You have the opportunity. Mm-hmm. You need a quarterback. All your quarterback. Bakerman is down.
Bakerman's not.
Take two gloves down. Yeah. Kyle Trask not available. All the greats of Blaine Gabbert. Out. Gone. Tom Brady, out.
No, not available.
You need a vet to win you one game in the playoffs before, let's say, Baker's coming back after a game. One game. You're going to pull someone out of the booth. Would you pick Kurt Warner or Tony Romo?
Whoa.
One game, you got to pull someone out of the booth.
My goodness. I got to go with the guy that knows how to win in the playoffs. So I'll go with Kurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think Kirk could still sling it?
15 yards at a time.
You're not going to trust him to throw the
Basically, I see it as a game where like Godwin and Ibuka have like 9 catches apiece and nobody else has any catches, or it's give the ball to Bucky as often as possible. That's a great question. I mean, given that Tony Romo could never really perform in the playoffs, and it's like he's Mr. Know-It-All too. It's like he's just not the right person. Kurt's a humble guy. You just come in there and just say, "What's that game plan?" Sure, I can do that. He's not. He's getting rid of the ball after 3 steps every time. Or Bucky's in there. Oh, we got a double tight end formation blocking him or whatever it is. So, but that'd be fun to think of if it were to happen. I'll take Kurt.
Take Kurt. Yeah. I would probably take Kurt too.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just feel like Kurt could probably still throw it better than Tony.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't know. The thing is,
Tony have like spinal issues and stuff like that?
I think he did have back issues and a shoulder issue.
Yeah,
I think
shoulder issue kind of sidelined.
I think he separated his shoulder close to the end of his career, but he separated his shoulder and it was just never quite the same as far as strength.
Yep.
Like the accuracy was always there, and I don't, cowboy hate aside.
Yep.
I respect Tony Romo and his ability to stick in a game, like undrafted free agent. Worked hard. He's, like you said, Mr. Know-It-All. He's smart.
Yeah, he is.
He's smart. He got that knowledge, on purpose. It's not like he lucks into some of the predictions he makes and some of the breakdowns he has. He's a smart guy about football. So I wouldn't necessarily say like I would doubt that he could, game plan wise, win me a game, run the offense.
I hear that.
It's the throwing that I feel like might be an issue for him. And if he gets hit, frankly, if either of them get hit, we're in some trouble. That's why I think it's good that Phillip went to the Colts, where they have a decent offensive line
and the best running back, or if not one of the best running backs in football this year, playing like the best.
But I would have to side with Kurt.
Final note here.
Yes.
NBA Cup Finals on tonight. Your adopted New York Knicks are in there as 2.5-point favorites. I did not know this year that they are one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the NBA.
Really?
Yeah, they actually have the third or top five. It's top five best percentage as a team. And I do believe they're making the third most threes per game.
Okay.
So that's something that we thought would have happened with the introduction of Cat. We like to see that more players are getting involved in the offense now. It's not just the Brunson show. However, we have the alien himself, the man responsible for taking out the juggernaut, Oklahoma City Thunder, on the other side of the court. And one thing we know about him is he can alter a lot of shots, especially close down really fast. So if there's anybody that's a three-point killer, it's going to be Mr. Wembanyama himself. Mm-hmm. And one thing we know about the Spurs is they are a completely different team with Wemby. You know right now that they feel great about having him on the court. So who you got tonight? You got the Knicks winning this year's version of the NBA Cup, but do you have the Spurs?
I would love to say the Knicks, but I have the Spurs. I think, like you said, Wemby just makes them a completely different team. Mm-hmm. And while the Knicks have a lot of talent, I think there's only one team this year when he's healthy that has a glimmer of a shot, and which is the same team that has an outright answer in some respects to Wemby, mm-hmm. Chad, mm-hmm. because of the length, the height, and the length, and the ability to play like a guard as well. Mm-hmm. That's the nearest thing that there is to Wemby in the league, and I frankly think that's your Western Conference Finals, and I frankly think that's your NBA champion. Whoever comes out of that matchup, I think is winning.
Okay.
So
we're jumping far ahead here from the NBA Cup.
I'll take it out of the NBA Cup. I will take it out of the NBA Cup and
New York fans, I have good news for you. You're going to get to celebrate a win tonight. Okay. New York will be hoisting up the NBA Cup. They will beat San Antonio. It'll be a close game. They'll pull away at the end because of free throws. I don't think they're going to neutralize Wemby. I think they're just going to make Wemby beat them on his own, and they're going to neutralize everybody else. So Wemby might have 45, but it's still not going to be enough. He might have 6 blocks. It's still going to be enough. I think the Knicks game plan is let him go off. Right now, he's still reintroducing himself into the offense and into the team because I'm not too sure if he has minute restrictions. You would imagine he's probably at about 30 minutes right now. Mm-hmm. Maybe because the NBA Cup, they make an exception. I don't think so, though. It's not really that important, right? So I got the Knicks winning by 5. Mikey's got the Spurs winning by
4.
There we go. So we're both thinking it's going to be a close possession game, and free throws kind of end it for either way. So we'll see, because somebody has to be the NBA Cup champion. It's either going to be a Texas team or it's going to be in New York.
We will see who wins that NBA Cup. We will see what Phillip Rivers looks like, if Tua plays at all for the rest of his time with the Dolphins, and we'll see what happens to the New York Football Giants. Spoiler alert, it's going to be a loss. And we will also see you on Thursday
with our predictions over the weekend, because we have some spicy college football and NFL games, including the first of 2 Tampa Bay Carolina matchups to close out the year,
which could very well decide the division. The college football playoff is here. Hockey's heating up. MLB free agency. We got a whole lot to talk about Thursday. So we will see you guys next time.
Peace, squad.